Okay, thank you, Aurora.
Mhm.
So there are 11 pathways that you can choose from, and they're basically kind of the topic that you're going to work through on your speeches. So there are leadership pathways, and there are presentation pathways, and there's even one about humor and mentoring. So let's go ahead and take a look. When you're going to choose your pathway, and it's the same process whether you're choosing your very first pathway or whether you're choosing your second free pathway. So you go to choose a path here under pathways. And this blue box over here, we're going to click on continue to path selection. And you have a choice here if you want a digital path or a printed path. The advantage of a printed path is you get, and if you like to work off paper rather than off the computer, the advantage to the digital path is there are more of them. There are only 5 paths available on paper, but there are 11 available digitally. And also there are some videos and some other resources online that you wouldn't necessarily be able to see on paper. So we'll go ahead and select the digital choice here. And then you'll have a choice on how you want to select your path. You can either take the online assessment. Let's take a quick look at that. It just asks you a series of questions that you can answer. The first one is select 3 topics you are interested in learning about. And so it'll step you through a bunch of questions to help you choose the path that might be best for you. The other option is to pick it yourself. This is what I did. Let's take a look at this. So there are 11 paths shown here. And to see what each one's about, you can click into each one. And it'll give you a little summary of what the path is. And then just the titles of all the different speeches you'll be giving if you choose that path. Some of them, especially under level 1 here, will be the same on each path, but it'll specialize a little bit more as you go up in the levels. So you can look at the ones that you're interested in and make your choice. So say we decided that we really liked dynamic leadership. You can click on that one. Continue. Does someone have a question?
Yeah, me. Could you go slower, because you only had 6 up there, and all of a sudden you went down to dynamic leadership. I wanted to see what all the 11 were.
Sure. Let's go back and we can look at them all. Okay, so yeah, these are they have dynamic leadership and effective coaching, engaging humor, innovative planning, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, and down here are the rest of them. Strategic relationships, team collaboration, visionary communication, presentation mastery, and leadership development. The reason these 2 bottom ones are grayed out are because those are the 2 that I already have. But they'll be available to you if you haven't previously selected them. So yeah, so you might want to take some time when you go in on your own to look through the ones that are interesting to you and go ahead and pick one. And then you'll just select it and go through. After this point, after you select it, it basically just takes you to the checkout page where, and you shouldn't, if you're getting the first path, if you're a new member, your first path that you select is free. And then also, if you're a returning member claiming your free path, that should be free too. So even though we clicked in the beginning on the link that said $20, when you get to checkout, you shouldn't have to give a credit card. It should, it should be free for you. Okay, so that is choosing your path. Does anyone have any questions on that before we look at how to navigate through the path once you choose it?
How much
Yeah.
are
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oma, go ahead.
how much are
So so I only get the free path when I renew my membership, or
Okay, so you get, as a new member, you get one free path. So if you haven't claimed it yet, you'll get that. And the free path for renewing your membership, that was just a special deal in the fall. So we don't get that every time we renew our membership. That was just something that Toastmasters gave us this time. So basically the first path is free. And then after that, I think each path is $20.
Oh, so if I want to add one more path, I need to pay $20 for that?
Yeah. So I would say just get your free one first and work your way through that. It takes quite a while to work through one path. And maybe there'll be at some point while you're working through that one, maybe they'll offer us another free path or something. I would start with just one. I think that'll be plenty for you to work on.
Yeah, besides that, there's some, when you get near the end, there's some really time consuming things you have to do before you go, like for your DTM and that. So you'll find there's a lot of work to do and a lot of things you learn.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
right.
Yeah, because I was confused by the first free path, and then after every time we renew, we got one more path. So I'm just thinking that we may have more than one path.
Yeah, probably not every time we renew.
No.
Just
That's something they
expect-
added because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh, see.
Ilma, did you have a question or something to say?
The price, but you told me the price. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's $20 for an additional path. If you want a printed one, it's an additional $25.
I think Jake had a question.
Yeah. So this is for new, doesn't matter of what level or new member, right? Anybody who join and just take it, right?
I'm sorry, could you, I didn't quite.
I mean, this is for all level, right? I mean, like people who just join and then they go with the pathway, right?
Correct. Yeah.
How long you've been, you have to give some presentation first before you take it. Doesn't matter. Right?
No, you should, you can start right away because the very first speech will be an icebreaker speech. And so it'll, and that's usually the first speech you give to our club. So it'll walk you through like, putting together your icebreaker speech and what should be in it and what are the different parts of the speech. So you can start right away from your very first speech, using pathways.
Well, yeah, you have to use pathways now because the old system has been phased out.
Yeah, that's true. Pathways is our only choice here. Okay, so let's look at, once you've chosen your pathway, then what? So then the thing to do is to go to Basecamp. Okay. And so you can see these are my two pathways here, presentation mastery and leadership development. And the one I'm currently working on is presentation mastery. So let's take a look at that. So every path is going to have 5 levels. You can see them here. The first level is identical pretty much for each path. It's going to start out with the icebreaker speech that I mentioned. That's the first speech you give to the club. It lets you introduce yourself to the club. The next speech you'll give is your evaluation and feedback. And actually this module, the evaluation and feedback, actually has 2 speeches in it because it's teaching you how to do the evaluations that we do during our meetings. So what you'll do to complete this module is you'll give a speech, someone will evaluate you and give you feedback, and then you'll give another speech and use that feedback to improve the second speech that you give. And then finally, you will evaluate someone else's speech. So there's a lot of steps to this evaluation and feedback module. So you just kind of have to patiently work through it. And then there's a research and presenting speech where you do some research and give your speech on that. So those are the 3 speeches you need to complete in level 1. And then you would, once you've completed those 3 speeches, you would complete this level 1 completion. It's not an actual speech. It's just some, wrapping up things that that you do to finish up the level, and it lets our Vice President of Education know that you've finished the level.
Tracy, how do you mark that is you completed?
So you will work your way through to the end, and once you get, we'll go into one of the speeches in just a minute, and I'll show you, you know, how you finish it off so that it's completed.
Tracy,
Yeah.
so the speech for evaluation and feedback is when you do the evaluator role and you evaluate others' speech.
Right. So, you know, and you may, I think I saw you're signed up to be an evaluator next week, so that's fine. You'll do an evaluation, you know, before you even do this evaluation and feedback module. But then, you know, then you can do, when you're doing the evaluation and feedback module, you can do another evaluation in our club. There'll be lots of opportunities.
Oh, so do I have enough time for next week? Or for this?
So the progression in the evaluation and feedback module is, first you do a speech and someone evaluates you, then you do a second speech incorporating that evaluation, and then you evaluate someone. So the evaluating kind of comes at the end. And you know, generally after every speech you evaluate someone else, so it kind of fits in. Yeah, so you probably, you know, the evaluation you do next week will just be kind of a standalone evaluation. I mean, we do lots of those too, but.
Oh, so maybe I think I need to maybe reschedule my role next week.
No, you can still do it. You know, as long as if you feel comfortable, you're certainly welcome to do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing that I'd like to say about that, and that is, along with this on Toastmasters, as you go along, they encourage sometimes to have some extra items in there. Not every speech need necessarily be a manual speech.
Okay, yeah, you could give some bonus speeches too. Sure.
Tracy, this is by sequence, right? Going to from top to bottom, is it?
You don't actually have to go in order. I was just going to point that out. You could do these. Usually, you know, this first one you might do in order, because definitely you're going to want to start with your icebreaker, right? Because that's your introduction to the club.
I think the first speeches you normally give in order, but as you get more advanced, then you can skip around a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I've done some, I'm kind of working on both level 2 and level 3. And so I've done some of them out of order.
Excuse me, Tracy. I think Dan has his hand raised.
Oh, Dan, did you have a question?
I missed the beginning of this. I was about 5 minutes late.
Okay,
So,
that's okay. So we talked about, Dan, have you used Pathways at all, or are you brand new to it? No?
No, I'm brand new.
Okay. So we talked, the part you missed is we talked about choosing your path. And that means, like, what topic do you want to concentrate on? Do you want it to be leadership or presentation or mentoring? So we talked about, that's the first thing you do. You choose the path that you want to follow. And so now the second part that we're doing is, once you have your path, how do you navigate within that path?
Right.
So, and once you get to some of these higher levels, like level 3, 4, and 5, there are elective projects that you can do. So, for instance, here in level 3, we're looking at, there are, you need to complete 2 electives. But okay, so this is the choice. So you have a whole bunch of electives that you can choose from. So let's take a look. I mentioned we were going to take a look at doing one of the projects. So let's say that the speech that we were working on, or the module that we were working on here, was this persuasive speaking one. So we're going to click into it.
Tracy, while it's loading, in midway, sometimes you need help in this, whatever the procedure you're doing? How do you get help? Is it everything inside or?
So I'm the person that you reach out to. So feel free to, text me, email me, whatever your question is, and I'll try and help you out.
Oh, I haven't got your number or email
Yeah, I
address.
don't have the information either.
Okay. When we're done, I'll put it in chat. I'll put my email and my cell phone number in chat so that you guys will have it.
Thanks.
Sure. So now we are inside the project, and so we're on the introduction. So you can read about the introduction. The way to navigate in here, there are actually two ways. You can use these arrows to go from slide to slide, or you can use this drop down here, and this way you don't have to go sequentially. You can go to whichever part you want to look at here. So you could go there. Now, one thing to know about the navigating is anytime you see this maroon color here, do you see the next button is maroon? That means you want to click on that first before you leave this section. So this is a quiz to assess your skills before. So you actually click on the next button to go through each of the quiz questions, and then you would rate yourself on each one. If you ever have any questions about what you're supposed to be doing on this screen, you can click on the directions down here. And this tells you what the numbers mean when you're rating yourself, from developing is number 1 to number 5 is exemplary. So then when you answered all the questions, then you can navigate away from this screen. So once again, here we see this more has this kind of red or burgundy color. So that's always pay attention to that, because you want to click on that and see what else they have for you here, like that. And so you'll work through this whole thing, all the sections, until you get to the section in each one that's called Assess Your Skills After. At this point, you'll stop before you complete this section and give your speech. So what you've gone over before this will give you information on the type of speech you're giving, how long it should be, what should be included. So you'll know everything that you need to give the speech. And so then you'll stop at this point and you'll schedule your speech with the club and prepare your speech and then give your speech. After you've given your speech, you'll come back into Pathways here and complete this Assess Your Skills After. And that's all you have to do. It's really quick after you've done your speech, and then you get to this congratulations slide. And when you asked me before, how do you finish it? This is how you finish each module. So, you finish the Assess Yourself Afterwards quiz and get to this congratulations screen. Then you're done with that module, right? And so you'll need to complete all the modules that are in your level, and then complete this level 3 completion section, and that will complete the level for you. So does anyone have any questions about navigating through the levels and through the modules?
Well, the last part, you say when I think I looked away from the screen when you went from the pictures across to get to this one. How did you get to this one?
Well, I actually just clicked on a different window. So
Okay.
Let me see here. So we were here, right? We were in one of the modules, and then we finished it. We were at Assess Your Skills After, and we did congratulations. Then to get, you would have, like this portion opened in a different window. So you just go back to the, you just click on a different window. This window would still be here for you. So you can just go back to this. And then you'd, if you'd completed all the modules at this point, then you would complete this level 3 completion. And then you'd be done.
How come it doesn't have a 0 thing on the assessment? It's only got 1. Now, if you've totally screwed up the speech, wouldn't you hit the 0?
0.
That's come
Oh,
to my,
Mike, you're gonna be like 4s and 5s, right? So
Nobody's that.
that's
Nobody's
come to
that
my
bad except
question.
me.
Like I think 2 weeks ago when I was here, someone actually did not pass the speech.
Makes sense.
And how did that person rate himself? Whether should he do it again or should he not pass himself here?
you did.
I think I can answer that one if you want.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
Jim.
Okay, the one thing is when you give a speech, you have to evaluate yourself. And do I really want to give that speech over again? Because if you don't feel you really gave a good speech and you can do it better, then do it better. That could be one of those extra speeches. But if you feel that you've learned what you can learn from that speech and you want to move on, you move on. It's all your own discretion.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question, Jack?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I think we need to start our regular meeting right now. So I'm gonna end the demo here, but thank you so much for coming. And if you have any more questions about Pathways,
you.
just let me know.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank
you.
you.